to Waterbox Live here on Wednesday. If you haven't already, do us a favor and smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. We got a fun episode for you guys.
Yep, so today we're talking about cycling of our all-in-one Peninsula, and we also have ORA here actually to kind of answer some questions and talk to them, so that's going to be really exciting. Let's get it started. And we're back. That song will get you jumping.
Yeah. We're actually listening to it this time. Yeah.
I know, we actually have it in here so you can hear it. I don't usually hear it, so
No,
it's like, oh.
it's definitely different.
It's good.
So you guys, we are jumping back into week 2 of the 65.4 all-in-one Peninsula build.
Last week we did aquascaping and filling it, so now it's time to kind of move forward with that process.
Yeah, we're getting to the exciting parts. We're going to start cycling it. And as you guys know, there's a giveaway associated with this build. We're giving away this exact system over here, the all-in-one 65.4 Peninsula. We have a website for that, or a web page. So if you guys head on over to waterboxaquariums.com/all-in-one, you can see the whole guide here. In the second section on this page, you're going to see the actual giveaway. So you can, again, fill out the information, do the social actions. A lot of different opportunities there to earn more entries, which are going to give you more chances to win. Mm-hmm. So definitely take advantage of that. And as we go through this build series, we're going to have the episodes listed there as well. So you can see the first 2 weeks are there. We obviously got later in this build, which they're here with us today, ORA. So all the livestock is going to be aquaculture with this system. So a lot more information, livestock list coming soon there. So
that's one of the most exciting parts of this build is that we're, partnering up with ORA, who we absolutely love. We've had them on our, Blue Fridays. And
every Blue Friday,
because they're just that cool. And to actually do a full build with them of all things aquaculture. So nothing's coming from the ocean; it's all aquacultured. We use the CaribSea life rock, bagged life sand, but everything from the inverts on is going to be from ORA. And so that's going to be there. And also with the giveaway is they're actually going to be putting together a livestock pack,
which
to
is
go
awesome.
along to the winner as well. I don't think we have that up there yet. So that's also part of the final giveaway. So, but first, of course, you got to go to cycling, but we wanted to bring them in. I talked to them a bit about ORA, what they do. They have a lot of different types of corals and fish that they aquaculture. They're probably one of the longer standings of aquaculture facilities, so kind of were the pioneers in it all. So, we definitely want to bring them in and kind of talk to them, answer some questions and all that.
Yeah, so here they are. We got ORA here with us, and hopefully they can do. They'll be here with us in just a second.
If you guys don't
Jordan
mind, and Donna here.
Yeah, if you guys don't mind introducing yourselves, tell us a little bit about what you guys do over at ORA.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome for joining us. My name is Jordan. I'm the director of sales for Reefs Aquariums.
Hello everybody. My name is Donna, and I am in the sales department as well.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Thank you for joining us today. And everyone has had really good feedback and excited to see this build kind of progress as a full aquaculture. So if anyone doesn't know a lot about ORA or anything like that, what is the, when did you kind of start and how do you feel like it's progressed through the years and changing with the hobby and stuff like that? When did ORA start and how far has it come?
Well, you've got us at a great time. This is actually our 25th year in aquaculture.
Congratulations.
Wow, that's
really big.
We started in 1996 here in sunny Florida, right on the Harbor Branch campus. Started out with Ocellaris and quickly progressed to a number of different species suitable for aquariums and 100% captive bred.
That's awesome. So probably one of the first that got into the beginning with, aquaculturing clownfish and kind of pioneered that whole path.
Certainly working to do it on a commercial scale so that we can get our animals worldwide, both domestically and internationally.
Jordan, with that being said, how many fish do you actually aquaculture within ORA? What's the range and how many?
Yeah, great question. Since 1996, we've done over 130 individual species of fish, everything from gobies, grunts, clownfish, obviously, and within the clownfish themselves, over 50 different types of designer varieties.
Wow.
That's a big list. That is
I
a
did not.
lot.
I've known about ORA a long time. I did not realize it was that extensive, so that's really cool.
So you got the fish side, of course, but you also have the coral side that you guys aquaculture, and you have some really cool strains that go back a long time. How many types of coral have you aquaculture, and do you currently aquaculture?
Sure. So I'll take that question. You know, within our 25 years, obviously, we've actually done 160 different species of coral, and generally, you know, we have any. I would say any variety between 50 and 60 in active production at this time.
Okay, so you have pretty kind of even numbers on fish versus coral as far as like strains and species and types that you aquaculture. So that's pretty cool because like you have some stuff like I remember just like back when coral aquaculture and especially like SPS aquaculture was pretty new. It was like a lot of the most sought after types were from ORA of your different types of acroporas and different millies and stuff like that. So I remember trying to get your corals from long ago.
Yeah, still honestly, mostly my favorite still, you know, just because of, you know, they've been adapted to aquarium life for so long that they're, you know, a little bit more hardy than some of the others. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, a number of our corals, that's one of the reasons why most people really like them. They're aquarium tough. They're great for any level of Aquarius. Some of the varieties that we raise have been in captivity now for over 40 years.
Woo.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's a long time. So, you know, yeah, they flourish well into aquariums and stuff. And like, you know, like we've always centered around aquaculture. It's so good for the environment and the reefs that, you know, these types of corals have just been reproducing in your care for that many years and you haven't touched the colonies in the ocean in order to continue offering those corals.
Yeah, and Jordan, that's again one reason I'm really excited about this build because we haven't done this yet is this fully aquacultured system. I think it's really important to draw light to the importance of that. And what you guys do obviously is super important. So I'm personally very excited about this.
And not easy. Like
setup.
aquaculturing fish and corals cannot be an easy task. It just cannot be.
Well, this is a wonderful opportunity because I don't think a lot of people are aware that you can actually have an aquarium where absolutely nothing came out of the ocean.
Right.
We're in a very exciting time in our hobby.
Absolutely. That's amazing. So, Jordan, tell me, what's some of the biggest challenges that you've had in regards to aquaculture and fish and corals? Do you have any cool stories or anything surrounding that?
I mean, we've got a number of fish that we have been working with over the last, 2.5 decades. I mean, something that comes to mind are damselfish. Not a, seemingly desirable species to pursue commercially, but if you think about how ubiquitous they are in our hobby, everyone starts out with damsels. I mean, or they're just a very popular fish because they're so hardy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've tried over 30 different species of those and struggled with many of them.
So one of the most common types of fish is actually one of the harder to aquaculture in the different types and stuff like that. You would think that damsels would be like an easy, prolific breeder because they, you see them come into stores in huge batches and stuff like that. You think that they would be easier to aquaculture with their hardiness, but I guess it doesn't always work out that way.
Right, and there are a number of other species that also pose some challenges.
So, I mean, obviously fish, corals, and inverts pose their own set of challenges when you're trying to aquaculture them, especially in a commercial scale, and bring it to a complete industry and into our hobby. So, for us, for fish and coral, we go through a vigorous quarantining process. And in that time, that's where we kind of get to note the hardiness and the longevity of these species, what they can really kind of go through in a hobbyist system once they transition from our farm here into the hobby itself. So a lot of those aspects, pose challenges. So like here, we're in sunny South Florida where it either rains or shines. So it poses a lot of environmental challenges. And then, on top of that, each species itself also poses, hormonal or even like seasonal changes that create challenges all in themselves as well.
Right. A lot of fish are maybe easy to spawn, but very challenging to raise the fry, get to that next step. And then other fish are very challenging to spawn. It's been a long road for a lot of these species to find out how to do it in large numbers.
So I see inverts are a newer thing that you guys have for aquaculture. Like, is that their inverts, like their whole other set of challenges with snails and crabs and stuff like that to like get that going on a commercial scale? Because that is something newer that you see.
So, clams would be a great example of that. Logistically, it can be challenging. We have a farm that's 8,000 miles away. Communication with them is always at opposite ends of the day. So that also poses some challenges, just getting those animals from our farm to here in Florida and then to the hobbyist.
Nice. How do you see, like, we've already seen so many changes since, the last 10, 15 years in the hobby. Like, how do you see things kind of shifting from your guys' side of it for the next, couple years to a decade? Like, where do you think this is all going? Like, how is it going to work out for the hobby?
I'll take this one. So, honestly, as hobbyists ourselves, we are very in tune with what's going on, the trends that are being established, the things that we are desiring in our own systems at home, and what the hobbyists who are shopping at their local fish stores are also looking for. So, I think our industry and our hobby as in entirety kind of follows this wave action. Where people are looking for classic pieces that really gained their interest when they first started in the hobby. And then they're shifting into this designer trend. They want to have the newest, the flashiest, the biggest thing in their system to kind of give it that wow factor. And I think it's always going to ride that thing.
Yeah, both on fish and corals, designer.
So you kind of see where it kind of goes back and forth, like what seems to be in demand at that time. And good thing with the aquaculture is like you're seeing that you can find and offer now more designer, but you've also got your basic, your oscillaris is what everyone starts with. But if you want that really fancy black storm, you have that too. And then your corals range from your SBS hard stuff to your easy. So you can kind of follow the trend and have something to offer.
We have a little bit something for everyone, absolutely.
That's good.
Excellent. So Jordan, we're getting pretty close to, we're probably how many weeks out till we actually get to put something in?
You're looking at next week for some inverts,
Okay,
and then
starting
starting corals, fish and corals and stuff in the weeks after that. So we're getting close to having some fun things into the build.
So what would you suggest to like our viewers that are maybe getting into a 65 gallon like this, 4 foot tank, 3 or 4 foot? What would be your suggestion for a stock list?
You really have a lot of options. You can really take it in any direction. Some of the nice things to start out with, obviously, for your industrious needs. We've got crocus snail, we've got tuxedo urchins, seraph snails, which will kind of target all your levels, your rock, your sand bed, your glass, for hitting that kind of nuisance algae that inevitably will start to grow. So that's a very important aspect of it. Following that, obviously, people want a clownfish, right? I would say a black storm isn't a very attractive type of clownfish. It creates a lot of conversation between your house guests and your children. I think that would be a fantastic fish to start with.
It's one of my favorite clowns right
Yeah,
now.
mine too,
I love
actually.
them.
Yeah.
You think it's like just because it's black and white, it's something simple, but it's probably one of the coolest looking clowns. Like I fell in love with it whenever I think first released a while ago, and I saw the first picture of it. I was like, I'm gonna have that clown one day. So that might have to be one on the list on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Sure.
And then you also have like gobies and blennies and cardinals that you guys do.
Right. So you've got a lot of flexibility here. You can use a watchman goby to kind of patrol your sand bed, stir underneath your rocks. For more open water swimmers, you've got striped blennies, canary blennies. You've got pajama cardinals, which will kind of cling together. I think you've got a lot of attractive fish you can put in there to keep you entertained for years.
So it's cool because you don't, people think if like I only do an aquaculture aquarium that it's going to be very like simple, but you do have kind of all your levels of swimming. You've got the cleaners, you've got, you know, blennies, you even have some little angels that are now being aquacultured as well.
Right, yeah, one of our coral beauties would be a great selection for that.
Yeah, so it's cool to see those dwarf angels actually being aquacultured because, I mean, a few years ago that wasn't really a thing that you could get a hold of. So it's nice that you can pretty much have all the different types of fish and actually still stay aquacultured.
Yep.
And those angel fish are absolutely adorable at their small sizes.
Yeah, I imagine they are. I can't wait to see those guys. So, and then coral pretty much just depends on what people want to do, but you've got a wide range no matter what they're looking for.
Yeah, I would say we have, you know, everything from a beginner hobbyist all the way through an advanced hobbyist as far as aquaculture, maricultured varieties of coral.
Stuff that moves, like your torch corals, your Gonioporas, stuff that is colorful and motionless, you know, like your red planet or yellow-tip green stag. A lot of different textures you can create with this style peninsula.
Very exciting to see what we come up with over the next couple weeks because we've got, what, 6 more weeks of the build.
Yep.
So we've got a lot of time to start working on our list with you guys. Really excited to have just a fully aquaculture system and to be working with you guys, which is always a pleasure. And we're really glad we got to have you on here. I don't know if Keenan has any questions he wants to pull from.
I have 3 questions for them.
Okay.
Here's the first one.
So Killa says, what's harder to culture, fish or corals?
I mean, I would definitely say fish. You know, yeah, I mean, you can't really frag a fish and have it grow into multiple ones, you know, but I think there are some fish that definitely pose a lot more challenges than corals, but there are some species of corals which are very difficult to kind of reproduce. You know, a lot of your more LPS is a prime example of that.
I think Donna's totally voting for the coral on that side of it.
Okay, so like for me, right, like when you're saying harder to culture, I'm thinking of timelines. So for us specifically, as far as to commercial scale, you know, a coral goes into a quarantine process of, you know, roughly a year or so before we move it into our greenhouse. Then from our greenhouse to active production to our hobbyists, it takes, you know, upwards to 5 years to produce enough of that coral and to kind of withstand the elements and the hardiness that we want to bring into the industry. And so to me, that's where I feel like the coral may be a little bit harder to culture.
That's really actually interesting because like most people would never think that, okay, they will go and buy this ORA coral. that could be 6 years ago. Say this is a new release from you guys. It could have been 6 years ago that this came into you guys' possession and you guys have worked for 6 years to release this one coral. It just really makes you understand like how much work goes into the aquaculture side of everything.
Right.
Well, and she's got a good point because we do have some fish that from getting out of quarantine to mass production could be under a year. So I think she wins that argument.
All right. All right. Jim says, do you foresee yellow tanks ever becoming readily back available from the ban or removing the ban?
I do. I mean, from my understanding, the Hawaiian fishery is one of the most studied in the world. There's a lot of emotion that goes into these, and I think science will fix some of these problems that we see from time to time.
Yeah, I think I feel like you just find certain areas do get shut down for a while they kind of determine how it's impacting everything. They might reopen back up. You know, that's another important reason why, you know, companies like ORA that are working so hard to aquaculture different fish and corals is because eventually you want to not be worried about a ban because we're not taking from the reefs and we're not taking from that area where it has to be closed down because of a ban, because of possibly, you know, hindering the environment or something like that.
Right.
So that's why what you guys do is so important for every type of fish species and coral species that you guys, aquaculture there.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's definitely one part of the entire industry.
Yep. I got one more.
So we've got Van says, I assume if you buy aquacultured, your odds of bringing in parasites or other issues are reduced.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at no time can you really guarantee 100% disease-free. Even though our animals come from our facility, I still like to recommend everyone use quarantine. I mean, it's a very important hobby or aspect of the hobby to get into, and it will save you lots of trouble down the road.
Yeah, for sure.
Overall, just a good practice, aquacultured or not, quarantine, dip, all of that, just to be on the safe
Right.
side.
Yeah.
With any kind of wild collection, obviously you're getting fish from all over the world, put into smaller areas before they're distributed.
Yeah.
And that long transit time from somewhere on the South Pacific, there's a lot of stops on the way. I mean, what's great about aquaculture is the shorter transit time. Our fish are flying from Florida. It may only be a 200-mile journey to your home versus 8,000, and there's not going to be a lot of contact with wild fish along the way.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. I think they were doing those.
I don't have feedback exactly at the same time. We're in real time.
Okay.
So I have two more questions that I want to throw out at you guys.
Okay,
Okay, we
Kim's
got two more
questions.
Yeah, go ahead and bring up the questions again. It's just these are pretty good. 1 second. Here you go.
All right, so Mike says, what do you guys hope to culture in the future?
I think 2020 specifically kind of started our headway with pelagic species and really working on our dwarf angelfish. We're still working with different varieties that have not been released yet, but are in active production. So you should be able to see more from us as far as angels in the future. We're consistently bringing in new brood stock and working with different varieties of species. I think this year too, we really want to ramp up our invertebrates. It's something that Jordan and I have pretty lengthy conversations about the offering as far as aquaculture as well.
Very cool. I feel like inverts, are they harder or they're just not as commercial, can't breed them to a commercial level as easily? I don't know, how do you get snails and hermit crabs to make enough? I don't know.
It's a little bit of both. It poses challenges as far as commercial scale and just growth in terms of a commercial production. But I also think that it's one of those things that not many people think to produce. It's one of those things that people kind of go along the shoreline and try to collect as much as they can for their systems. And they don't even think about being able to culture them. And that's where we're trying to shift the mindset of it.
Very cool. Yeah, that is definitely a newer thing, is inverts and the aquaculture of those. So hopefully we'll see that grow quite rapidly. All right, Ed says, can we buy fish and coral directly through ORA?
That one has come up a lot of times.
Yeah, so a lot of people are asking that. So you guys can direct them of where they can go to get ORA.
Ed, yeah, that's a great question. So while we don't ship directly to Aquarius, we've got a vast network of ORA partners throughout the U.S. We work with online vendors that will actually ship. It's about the closest you can get. It'll come from our facility. It will go straight to your door. Nothing else in between. But then we also work very closely with brick and mortar retail stores, your favorite LFS. Please give us a call. We can coordinate very easily with them to get, the most hand-picked, cherry-picked item that you're looking for your home aquarium.
Awesome. So
Cool.
you can go online, you can go to your local fish store, pretty much wherever you want, just go to them and request some ORA fish and coral.
Feel free to send us an email at sales@orafarm.com. We'll get back in touch with you right away.
Awesome.
Excellent.
So I learned some stuff today, which is
I did
always
too.
great. And like I said, every time we talk to you guys, we still learn new stuff. We talk to you once or twice a year, usually on the show. It's exciting to see the new things that you guys have going on. Can't wait for us to continue this build.
Yep.
Very excited for the livestock.
Great.
And thank you guys a lot for coming on.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
The invite.
Hey, thank you so much.
All right, talk to you later.
See you guys.
Bye. So there's a couple of things that I want you guys to do after we wrap up here. A, go to orafarm.com. Check
Check
out
them
where you can buy. They have I believe they have a store locator there as well, where you can reach out to them. Number two, head over to our website, to the giveaway page. We did add a social action. So if you want to get some more entries, go follow ORA on Instagram. And also, if you want to learn a little bit more about them, we've done 3 Blue Fridays with
Yes.
ORA. So go back, check out those episodes. There's a lot of really cool information on them.
We've seen the clam farm. We've talked about baby clowns, so a lot of stuff. And definitely check out their social media, because I'm pretty sure you're going to see pictures of baby fish and they're adorable. So you can't go wrong. So definitely check them out. And you're going to see some of their stuff coming into the Peninsula build
Yep.
very, very soon. But first, you got to have a tank cycled. You can't put stuff into your aquarium if it's not cycled.
Yes, the
And
dreaded
it's that
cycle.
process that no matter what, you got to go through. So, especially if it's your first aquarium, you're thinking about getting an aquarium, people are like, what is a cycle? What do you do? What are you looking for? What do you have to do? So that's what we're doing right now. As you can see here is the Peninsula 65.4 all-in-one. And it's cleared up very nicely. We have been dosing bacteria, but from a cycle, when you set up an aquarium, no matter what, you usually are going to have to make sure you have the bacteria and waste product to stabilize it before you put anything in, before you put snails, crabs, fish, anything. So we're going to kind of just talk about what is a cycle, what to look for, and then kind of just go from there.
And give away some stuff too.
Oh, yes.
Are we doing 1 giveaway or 2 today?
2. We have a shirt and a thing of pump clean from
All right.
SICCE.
So we got a jar of pump clean, really good for cleaning your pumps, and a t-shirt to give away at the end of the episode. So stick around.
Yeah.
So
Cycles. Cycle image. Okay. So your cycle. Basically, every time you start an aquarium, you've got to build up the beneficial bacteria that's going to take waste product and break it down to a safe thing. So you got a fish, you feed them, or you put food into aquarium, and it creates waste product. So fish, ghost feeding, whatever, it creates waste, and that breaks down to ammonia, very toxic to fish, inverts anything. From there, bacteria builds up, that then breaks it down to nitrate. Toxic, not as bad. And then there's a bacteria that then breaks nitrite down to nitrate. And from there is where you export it with water changes and some additives and stuff like that. Water changes is your most usual way to break down and remove nitrate from your system. So any waste product, food into it, fish poop, any of that, has to go through that full cycle. And you need the bacteria built up so that happens almost immediately. So you never have a measurable level of ammonia nitrite or nitrate.
I'll just explain ghost feeding.
So, okay.
Because I figure some people might
There's
not know what that is.
yeah, there's so many ways you can do it. Okay, so when you set up an aquarium, and it used to always be, okay, you set up your aquarium, you put in rock and sand, dry, live, whatever, and you put in some fish, usually damsels. They're like the sacrificial fish. And then they feed them. A lot of damsels would die. You cycle it, you wait till the bacteria blooms in your aquarium and can kind of meet up with the waste product. We don't do that anymore.
Yeah, old school.
We're not killing fish for no good reason. So what we do is what's called ghost cycling. And we basically set up the aquarium and we feed it bacteria. So we've been putting bacteria into our aquarium every day. We're also putting a pinch of fish food in. So that's just going to break down as if there's fish in there creating waste. That then is going to feed the bacteria so that it can make sure it can grow to enough to break down enough waste product. So if you don't have waste product, the bacteria won't grow. So you kind of have to have something creating waste, but we take the fish part out of it.
You're feeding imaginary fish.
Yes, imagine you have fish in there and pretend. You put some little plastic ones. Don't put live fish in until it's cycled. It's really not, it's not good. So, if you start with something like dry rock and dry sand, it's going to be a long process from bacteria establishing enough to create all those different types of bacteria and to consume waste product quickly. So if you then use something like we use CaribSea live rock that has a dormant bacteria on it, and we use live sand, there's some bacteria that comes in, you're going to get through your cycle quicker. And then like for us in the all-in-one Peninsula, we actually moved rock from an existing tank over, used live sand, still using bacteria and still feeding.
Right.
And we've got our, all of our levels. Ammonia and nitrite should always be 0. Nitrate will be the one that will build up, but you remove by water changes. So you never want to add anything into it if you have ammonia or nitrite showing anything but 0. So
Knowledge is,
there you go. So always make sure your tank is cycled. We look at everything we're testing for. We're showing no levels. So next week, our plan is we're going to add some inverts, because that's your next step, is to add some snails, crabs, whatever. And then make sure everything's still good. Then you can start adding your first fish.
yeah. So again, you guys, if you're just getting it started with this, definitely take it slow. You don't have to move as quickly into inverts like we did. Like you said, we're
Right.
using a lot of established stuff already. Take it slow, get your test kits, make sure everything is good to go before you jump into any actual live animals.
Yes, definitely take your time, because you're better off feeding the bacteria and adding bacteria for extra couple weeks than not enough. Especially if you're kind of newer to it or it's a first aquarium. You don't want to rush that, because you can think it's good, but then you go too quickly and then suddenly your ammonia or something spikes and you will kill stuff. We can kind of push it a little bit faster just because of our methods and then been doing it for so long, that kind of deal. But
Right.
take your time on the cycle. You want as much bacteria built up as possible before you add stuff. There you go.
Excellent.
I don't know if you're doing questions or not.
We got a couple questions.
Okay.
for you. 1 second. Here we go. And boom.
Boom. Nope.
Boom. Don says, Mario, how long are you, or wait, I said Mario, how long? So how long are you cycling? Question mark.
So we set up the aquarium last Wednesday, is when we filled it. And we are not adding any inverts until next week. So we're gonna have 2 weeks that we're feeding bacteria and ghost feeding it. And that's with using established rock and live sand. So even at that point, we're allowing 2 weeks to truly build up enough. And then we're gonna take a week with inverts and then add fish.
Yep.
Wilmar says, which bacteria supplements are you using? I use Microbacter 7. It's all around a good one. It's unrefrigerated. I find it very easy. I've always had great success with it.
Yeah, we've been using that for a while. It's from Brightwell Aquatics.
Yeah, so that one has been my go-to for a long time.
This is a good one.
Bentley says, so when do we get to see a proper planted tank?
Keenan put
we'll
that up
throw that
there.
up there.
All right, Keenan, Mr. Freshwater.
I was just thinking about that today. I was looking at some inspiration on Instagram and so on and so forth, because we have a whole entire wall in the studio planned out for freshwater.
So there's the whole opposite wall from where the Reef LX and stuff is going to be for freshwater, all different types. I mean, you might see cichlids, discus, planted, but we also have to add a third show
Yeah.
to make it happen. So we got to work towards.
No.
So we have to get in some aquariums, start to plan our third show each week, so you get to see us 3 times. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but we're going to get there. It's in the works.
Now that you're starting to close out.
Sorry,
questions
Keenan.
are just
Sorry, Keenan, there's going to be one.
There's one that's along the same lines.
Okay.
It was asked a couple times.
Can the Reef 220.6 saltwater be used with freshwater as well? Oh yeah, absolutely. So any of our models can be used for freshwater. Honestly, I think for large freshwater, the Reef models work well, because you just have more room down below for filtering and stuff. Go to our user group on Facebook. We have a lot of large tanks that are used for freshwater, some beautiful stuff. So, join our group, Waterbox official group on Facebook, and, definitely go big. We also got the Clear Pro 6 foot, which is the same size as the Reef. It just doesn't have the sump.
Right. And again, you guys, if you haven't already, do us a favor, smash that like button. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you can do that also if you want. If you want to
do it. Just
Jess
do
says
it.
you have to. I'm fine with that
You're
too.
all nice about it. If you want to. No, do it.
We're here twice a week now.
Yep.
If you want to enter the giveaway for the 65.4, head over to waterboxaquariums.com/all-in-one. We are live again tomorrow at 1 p.m. for the Reef LX build that is shining away next to us.
Yeah, so if you didn't know, on Thursdays we're here at 1 p.m. and that is for our big Reef Aquarium build on the LX 320.7. It's huge. that's also has to do with the giveaway. So definitely tune in for that one. We got 6 more weeks going on with this awesome Aquacultured on one peninsula. Can't wait for that to just continue on. So you get us twice a week. It's pretty
Brian,
great.
can we take a look at that 65.4 real quick? Just while we close
We want
out.
to do the winners first because we're prepped for that.
Oh yeah, forgot about
Okay.
the winners. Maybe
Winners
we should give some
first,
stuff
then we're
away.
gonna take a look at it. All right, so we got a CJ shirt and also a thing of pump clean.
You can follow me and Jess on Instagram as well if you want some insider details there.
Boom.
And there's ORA celebrating 25 years.
25 years.
of
That's
life.
impressive in the aquaculture
That's
world
awesome.
because that's when, you know, it even like an aquacultured oscillaris was like a big thing, like, you know, that wasn't common back
Yeah.
then. So now to see so many different types and different types of fish, it's really cool how far it's progressed in that
Yeah,
time.
for sure.
Are we doing winners? I'm confused.
Winner, winner. Who's winning the pump clean? I hope you guys got a lot of pumps to clean. Because this is a big jar of pump clean.
It works really well though. You just soak it,
It
in
does.
it. Gets all the calcium buildup, algae buildup, stuff like that. So it's a great product. You should be cleaning your pumps every couple months anyway. So,
Let's go.
all right, we're ready. And the winner is ours.
Christopher Franklin on the CJ t-shirt and Alejandro Marietta. Keenan, you should have said that one.
Alejandro Murrieta.
There you
There
go.
you go. On the pump clean. Congratulations. Email winners at waterboxaquariums.com. Get them your information. They'll verify you, and you'll get taken care of for your prize. And we're giving away something every week here.
We are.
So you never know what we're going to have up here. But we do appreciate because CJ is, along with this giveaway, doing some weekly stuff with us. And also you're getting a pump with the all-in-one 65.4 Peninsula from CJ. So we
Yep.
got to give them their shout out too.
So thank you guys so much for being with us tonight. We will see you tomorrow at 1 p.m.
See ya.
Thank you all for watching. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Remember, you can visit us online at waterboxaquariums.com.
We're live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for watching. See you next week.